Hi everyone, and welcome to Seeking the Sacred Earth. Today I'm sharing a very simple concept that can help release some of the emotions we may consider negative. So oftentimes, from my experience, what I've seen in myself and others is that when emotions are most difficult to handle, it's because in some ways we're pushing them away. We're not wanting to look at them because they're so very uncomfortable. So we run to our addictions, whatever that may be. That can be really anything when we're running from our feelings. Or we personify the feelings as negative and we actually feel shame because we're experiencing them. And we push them away as if we are then bad for having them. So this idea is very simple. It is simply to allow these feelings to be. And the way that we can tell our subconscious mind and our limbic system that this is what we're doing is by giving it voice and giving it a visual, right? So the first thing to do, and my example is going to be with anger. Anger is something that when I was growing up, we were actively not allowed to express, although the adults around us were expressing it all the time. So it became something very confusing as to how to process it. So that's what I'm going to work with this example. So say a circumstance or a person has triggered anger within you, and it may become overwhelming. It can become so uncomfortable that you may want to run. What you do is you stop and you acknowledge it and you say, I allow this anger. I allow this anger. I allow myself to be angry. I allow it. And what this does is it stops that resistance, the resistance that increases the stress around the emotion. It simply stops that process. And you will be able, use this technique, try it out, because you will be able to see a difference in just the first time you say it. It's because the conflict within stops. And if the conflict within can stop, there can be flow, and the feeling can actually move through your body and move through your energy body. So you simply say it, and then notice how that feels. Sometimes that's enough. I mean, it's just so simple and so profound at the same time. If it's not enough, what I do, I imagine that my torso, my rib cage, the area around my heart is kind of like when I'm feeling these extreme emotions or these emotions we consider negative, it gets tight. I imagine that they're doors, that my rib cage and the area protecting my heart is like a door. Like think Game of Thrones, big, huge gates from the ice wall. And I open them. And I visualize that feeling, anger. Sometimes, it's just the word I see. Sometimes it can be, I can personify it, I can make it into sort of like an entity or something I can, actually see as like a figure or something. Or like I said, sometimes it's just the letters ANGER. And I actively visualize allowing that anger, however it's personified, however I'm seeing it, into these gates of my heart. And I just allow it to be accepted by me. And what I notice is that however I've seen it, whether it's a color or a figure or a word or letters, it slowly disappears. It just completely disintegrates. And by the time I've done with this process where I've actually said, I allow you in, and then I have given my limbic system and my subconscious mind an actual visual for allowing this emotion in, I usually feel on a scale from 1 to 10, if my, anger was like at a 10, I'm at least at a 5. And I do it again until I can really feel like I have stopped all resistance to the feeling and it dissipates. So as I started working with this, then I was like, okay, we all have difficult people in our life. We all have difficult circumstances that we're resistant to. So I made a list of the things that I was resistant to. And I started using this visualization and these words, I allow blank. And things started changing. So really you can use this on emotions, people, places, things, everything. Whatever you are putting resistance to, because what do they say? What we resist persists. It's the opposite, which, you know, it's like an aha moment for me when I started using this, that it's actually absorbing and accepting these things that allows them to pass through. So if it's conflict, you know, with another person or within a circumstance, the acceptance of it is going to take the edge, the sting, the stress from it. But don't take my word for this. Use it. See if it helps you. And if it does, share it with people that you think could also benefit from this, because that's what this is all about. Sharing what we know so that we can make this world a better place, so that we can connect with each other deeper, and so that we can find gratitude for this awesome planet that we're on. Namaste, everybody. I hope this helps.